Keep my love going higher and higher. I said keep on lifting, lifting it up, mama. Keep on lifting higher and higher.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. It is Friday. It is noon o'clock. Our favorite time of the week. Time to talk some stupid fun news and have a bit of fun on a Friday. Nothing crazy. I'm going to try and get into the news a little seriously right off the bat, but that's what we got to do. We got to talk about the big stuff of the week. That's what this show's all about. I try to highlight what we kind of did and didn't talk about in the week on the Humble and Fred Show. And this is my chance to really let you guys know what I've been presenting and what I've been talking about, what I've been trying to say, and, the conversations I've been having this week. So I know I don't like to get in too seriously into the news, but we do have some big topics right now. So right off the bat, we got to talk about the what's going on in the Canadian election. And the advanced voting polls come up on October 11th, and it seems like I really don't know what choice to make now, because every party seems to have some sort of political controversy, scandal going on. Everyone's focused on the wrong things, I don't know, in my opinion. And, come on. Let's focus on the task at hand. Let's get our jobs done. That's why we want to elect you guys, right? If you look at it right now, though, there's a bit of, hypocrisy going on in every single party. Look at, Andrew Scheer had a couple things come out in the news this week, which that was, it just seemed like everyone's doing a bit of digging on for dirt of every other party instead of actually trying to just lay their platform out there like they should. So as you may have found out this week, Andrew Scheer, it was found out that he's not really, he was never an insurance broker, and he claimed to be, or he was selling insurance, and he was never certified. So I don't know, not huge, important, anything that really affects me news, but I mean, if you're in the insurance industry, I can imagine that's pretty controversial. And then you have what came out, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, where found out Andrew Scheer is a dual citizen of the States, and has not yet put that, he just started putting out, completing the paperwork to become, to give up his American citizenship, which, I don't know, that's a little late. You should have thought about that maybe, when you first got elected. I don't know, maybe something like that. Maybe you should have thought about that when you were in the House of Commons, that you're representing the Conservative Party, and you kind of just don't want to do that. I don't know. Insane to me, but it really, again, that's not a huge deal. He should have done that before, but in the end, is that going to affect anybody's vote for him? To be honest, I don't think so. But we'll see what happens. He is giving that up, and he started the paperwork already, so it's not like he's saying he wants to keep this, and then there's going to be a huge scandal between us and the States, and blah, 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 all that stuff that happens. But I don't know. Moving along to, the other parties here, the Liberals, I don't know how much I can trust Trudeau right now, and I think that's the case for a lot of people, which, we should take that in consideration when we're voting for the leader of our country, when he spreads, opposite messages when he visits the West Coast versus when he visits the East Coast, and then he goes to Quebec and has a completely different message. So I don't know where he lies right now. He's traveling in two planes. That was the Conservatives' response to the back and forth they're having with scandals and trying to dig dirt up about each other. But he travels with two planes, one specifically for his luggage, and just whatever else he's bringing along with him. And that's kind of against his whole climate change message. And then we have the NDP, who saying I like to support. I think it's great that we have a leader or someone running for this country that is a Sikh person and you know, a person of color, proud of their culture, proud of their heritage, and proud of the diversity of this country, and that's huge. But then again, how can you go and support Bill C-21 in Quebec after, and you just received a bit of, you know, racist comments while you were in Quebec from one man that walked up to you? I don't know where the NDP can stand and really stake their claim on any of these, you know, platforms that they're trying to accomplish, because as far as I've been alive, they've never been the majority party. They've never had the ability to really go that far. So it's going to be, I don't know. I'd love to see them, you know, find a better way, and for there to be a third party, major party in Canada. But I can't see that happening in the near future. And there's a lot of, you know, I hate to say it, racism in Canada that's holding that back, I would say. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? And then we have the Greens, who are so against every other party's platforms, and, you know, they're so against the old style politics. And then Elizabeth May's only ever response is to stand up and literally do old style politics of her rebuttal in front of the crowd. So, and then you got the separatist blocks, you got the PPCs, and it's just, even the blocks said to Quebec, pick a politician that resembles you. And like, how can we be focused on such, you know, let's split up the population and everyone's on a different path, mindset and everything. Why don't we just focus on the task at hand? We know what Canada wants to focus on. We want our government to do their job, and we'd rather you didn't focus on these scandals. So I don't know. That's as far as I'm going to go talking about Canadian politics, because, of course, just south there's another big thing going on in the States, and that's Trump, who was on live TV yesterday, basically just saying everything he's in trouble for again. What a guy. Yeah. I don't know how much more to say to that, but what a guy. Holy crap. How can you just go on live? And he even kind of dug his hole a little further, saying China should be looking into Joe Biden now, which, all right, man. I don't think he actually follows any news. He's just kind of listening and doing whatever he thinks in his head. Who knows? But yeah, no, see, I'm not big into all these politics, and I know I have to kind of bring them up because they are big news stories of the week, but I really don't like focusing on them. And the only reason I'm focusing on any politics right now is because we do have an election coming up in Canada. And like I said, the advanced polls are October 11th, so we need to do something about that. I don't know who to vote for, and I think a lot of Canadians are the same way right now. Do you guys know who to vote for? Because quite honestly, I feel like I said, everybody's just looking for a scandal on everybody else. So there's bigger issues I think we need to tackle. Stuff like another big story in the news this week was the housing index that's kind of off the charts. The Swiss bank UBS did a study on the current housing market and the rise of the bubble that is the housing bubble risk. And the Swiss bank UBS, they looked at 24 major cities on 4 continents and concluded that Toronto has the second highest risk of a bubble behind Munich, Germany. And that's up 1 spot from 3rd place last year. Meanwhile, Vancouver slid to 6th place from 4th place. And it's due to the cost of housing in Vancouver is actually going down versus here in Toronto. We're starting to peak a bit, and it's kind of scary for potential home buyers. And you know, I'd love to one day own a home somewhere near where I grew up, here, this area, Georgetown, Etobicoke, Toronto, you know, anywhere around here. But doesn't look like our market is settling down anytime soon, and I think, you know, we need to find a way to improve this situation for future generations. I know there's a lot of older generations, they have their home or they've made these payments, and It's actually true that for the last 20 years, the housing market in Toronto has tripled in price. And so people have made money. It's been a good economic growth point for Toronto and Torontonians. But to jump into this market is impossible. And that's a bit of a challenge I think we need to actually be talking about in Canadian politics versus, looking for scandals and blackface and all that crap. Next, we have a strike potentially in the Ontario schools coming up on Monday if they haven't resolved anything, which it looks like they are not going to, which is leaving a lot of parents without plans for what they're going to do with their kids on Monday. Also, because we would usually go and place our votes at schools, that's where a lot of the advanced election polls are. They're not going to have the custodian staff, the after-school staff, or anybody sticking around to actually run these elections. So we need to come up with a quick solution here. There's an election coming up, and the schools are going to be closed. And where else are we going to tell people to go? I think that needs to be fixed. And there's major problems. Some of these are obviously Ontario problems, but something like housing and education and why there's always strikes in education needs to be discussed on a federal level. We'll see what happens instead of, looking at how many planes the Liberals fly in. But, okay, on to the next story. We do have more to talk about. I don't want to stick to all these political stories. This is ridiculous. Let's jump right into some other things that are happening in Canada. Forever 21 has gone bankrupt and looks like they'll be closing their stores, which is bad news. Good segue from schools, because this is like the teenage girls' favorite place to shop for all their clothes. It's actually classified as fast clothing or fast fashion. That's what it is, fast fashion. And but they're going bankrupt and decided to close their stores in Canada. So that'll be interesting to see where all the girls are going to get their clothes from now. Maybe they'll actually spend some money on some trendy stuff instead of the $20 Forever 21 leggings. I don't know. And new lids. What do you guys think? This is my one topic I want to talk about. How do you feel about this? I don't know. I really don't know. And every day now I have to deal with this massive hole being poured into my mouth and a little bit less control. I'm afraid that lid's going to fall off. I've seen a lot of the funny solutions online, actually, that people are just you're going to rip it right off, and it kind of, you can still grab it by the lip there. But you can also, apparently, I'm going to try this one while you guys are watching, see if this happens. But apparently you can crush it, and it works just like the old lids. That doesn't look right. That can't be right. So, all right. I mean, not bad. Not bad. I mean, I think that's going to go all over me, maybe. We'll see. Oh, let's try that out. But yeah, that's most of the news. I guess we could talk a little bit before I go to my first break here. Just a big heads up, we do have my first guest on the Crack of Noon with Sean Sargent coming up after our first break. Phil, of course, our favorite producer at the Humble and Fred Show and the #1 guy in the world, I hope he's listening to this, is coming to do an interview with me. I'm going to have him sitting over here with in Fred's chair, I guess you could say. I'm sitting in Humble's. And we're going to have a little chat. And maybe we can... I'm going to try and get some karaoke or something going. If you guys have a request that you want Phil to sing, maybe you can donate some bits, or... You know what? We'll see what happens. If you guys want to donate some bits, that's always welcome. And you can choose a song for Phil to sing. Otherwise, we're just going to get talking, and then we'll probably end up singing anyway, because we're both singers and both like having fun. But yeah, just before we go to break here, let's just do a quick talk. So the Jays finished their season. It was pretty uneventful. They barely held in there for 100 wins. or sorry, 70 wins. The 100 losses is what they didn't get. And yeah, the Leafs started their season, and John Tavares was named captain. I don't know if there's much more to say about that other than Austin Matthews maybe shouldn't have done what he did, but he still got the A in the end, and I'm happy to watch them. They're on tonight. Who are they playing? The Leafs are playing... Oh, of course. Google it. Be quicker. They're playing the Blue Jackets tonight. Yeah, so that'll be a good game. And then tomorrow they're taking on the Canadiens, and lots of hockey to come. Beginning of the season. One game in. Good 4-2 win the other night. We'll see what happens. So that is the end of this fall segment. We're just going to head right along. I'm going to play you guys some tunes, and that's kind of how this show works. So stick around. We're going to have Phil coming up in just a second after a couple great songs by some Canadian artists. All right. So stick around. You're listening to you're watching The Crack of Noon with Sean Sargent on the Hummel and Fred Radio Twitch channel. Stick around, guys.
I'm total pro here. out of your mouth. You never get the paw print out of the hen house now, and you can't go back the same way you came. Round all the pieces up, but they just don't get the same. White knuckles, maybe it's not so bad. So let your hair down now, white knuckles. Yeah, maybe it's not so bad. Oh, go ahead and let it down. So come and let it all out, let it bleed. Did you get what you want? Did you get what you need? I'm behind the lines, behind the wall. Tell me what's the bed you made, really that bad after all? White knuckles, yeah, maybe it's not so bad. So let your hair down now, white knuckles. Oh, maybe it's not so bad. So let it all come down now. Everybody needs to sleep at night. Everybody needs a crutch, but couldn't good be good enough. Cause nothing ever doesn't change, but nothing changes much. Yeah, maybe it's not so bad. So let your hair down now, white knuckles. Oh, maybe it's not so bad. Let it all come down now. Yeah, maybe it's not so bad. Just let your head go down now. Oh, maybe it's not so bad. Just let it all come down.
All right, welcome back, everybody. I'm sitting here with Phil. Let's see if this new camera selection pops up. Turn the music off. There he is. Look at the guy.
I just happen to be here.
Look at him.
Hi.
What a pretty guy.
You might need my mic on though.
Oh, you know what? I should probably...
Today's mine.
Whoa, there he is.
There you go.
There he is.
Hi.
So, hello, Phil. How are you, buddy?
I'm pretty good, and you?
Amazing.
That's
This is the third episode of my show.
Oh boy.
So thank you for being the first guest and the most beautiful guy on the planet I could possibly work.
I guess this is like rated G webcam girls. So for 900,000 bits, you'll see my shirt off, and for 1.2 million, you'll see my pants off. Good? Good? All right.
I hope he keeps his pants on, so nobody do that for 900,000 bits.
I'm not
Although,
sure. Yeah.
1,000 bits, would you sing a song?
1,000? Would that be enough for you?
I'm
Because
happy
we're doing
with,
it for Sean today.
I'm happy with 50 bits, to be honest.
50.
Yeah, 50 cents, I think we'll sing a tune. I'll sing a tune for...
Are you a Cambodian
Anything.
beggar or something? 50 bits?
Yes.
Gotta raise that rate a bit.
Cheap labor, bud. Cheap labor.
Dang.
So, I wanted to have a chat with you. This is the first interview I've done on this show, at least. And I wanted to really just get to know you a little more, buddy, and get everybody on the Hummel and Fred Twitch channel to get to know you.
That is hilarious because we've been together in the same office for, what is it, almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
And I don't think you know much about me other than the fact that I show up at 4 in the morning.
Well, and I do listen to everything you say to me first thing in the morning as I'm trying to sit behind the computer and get my work done and do whatever I got to do, but...
Phil Vortex.
you know what? I enjoy the Phil Vortex sometimes, buddy. You do something right. It's you've got that knowledge of, I don't know anyone else that's got your brain.
Oh my goodness.
It's impressive. It's cool, dude. Like,
It's a lot of useless information.
no, there's nothing wrong with all the. It's
3
better
volumes.
than it's better than the sports useless information that like my whole family has. They're just like knowing about why Sergeant Road is named Sergeant Road in Georgetown because my grandpa was the mayor in the 50s and
But that's interesting.
just old small town stuff. Provincial election stuff from 20 years ago.
So how about that Constitution, eh? Darn cotton.
It's impressive, though. It's impressive what you know. But, no, I wanted to get to know why you went into radio. I wanted to get to know you and your kind of past about, you decided to go into radio at Humber.
Yes.
And you, as far as I know, and as far as you've told me, and as far as I've heard, you kind of excelled at that, and this is how you ended up here, being a technical producer here. You did a good job.
A lot of people who go into radio will say, "Yes, I used to record myself and I listened to myself all the time," and I was one of those idiots. So when I was, I guess, 10 years old or 9 years old at the time, my grandmother knew that I was a flippin' blabbermouth. So she gave me this CB radio set, and she's like, "Why don't you talk to the world with it," or something like that. And so I began yapping into one of those trucker sets.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it was connected to a tape player. And so I was busy pretending to be like the voice of Southern Brampton, and people used to buy walkie-talkies just to listen to me on the street. And so it's like, "Oh, today, Slobodan Milosevic," if you remember the reference, "Slobodan Milosevic has been bombed in Belgrade, Yugoslavia." And so as a 10-year-old, I knew I was a geographical nerd, so I was talking about everything and anything and not realizing that there was no point of it. And so years later, my dad, actually last year, my dad said, "Guess what I found rummaging through the archive of tapes I have?" And so he's got 99 Eagles tapes, and then that one tape of me talking about Slobodan Milosevic, and oh my God, Mike Harris, that teacher strike of 1998. And so I have a tape of myself talking like that with a much higher voice. And so that's how I got into radio, technically.
So you would have been 10 years old.
Yes, I was.
Talking about that.
Then we got our first internet connection, and I began digging into internet radio. And I still do that, by the way. I run an indie radio station, and just by coincidence, record companies started forming partnerships with me, not realizing they were talking to a 14-year-old. And then all of a sudden,
really?
Yeah, like this is something that Howard and Fred really don't want to talk about. Because
Were you making money off that?
Zilch. I was thinking zilch at first, then I made a little, and then the company declared bankruptcy, the advertising agency I worked with. But the irony was, years and years ago, like there was a great story about 10 years ago. I received a CD from one of my New York labels. There are like 3 indie labels I worked with in New York. And they sent me a disc of this weird band called Imagine Dragons. And so I put that CD in the CD player, and I wanted to hear it. They were asking me to run this song. And I'm like, what the hell is this crap? There's a lot of drums, there's a lot of yelling, there's a lot of Guess what it was?
What?
2 years later, it was Radioactive.
Oh.
Radioactive. I rejected Radioactive from that station.
Wow, well done.
Oh my God. So you can tell I was a big nerd since I was a kid, and blah, blah, blah. And Wolfman Jack's sidekick works for that station too. And we have fun together, and people don't listen like they used to. But yeah, that's where I got into radio that way.
So what do you listen to in radio then? I know you kind of bring up like Wolfman Jack. You bring up a lot of music that's like 80s, 90s, but you've grown up on it, and there's no problem with that.
I love how people look at me and they think, "Okay, Phil, I've heard Humble and Fred, so that means you listen to elevator music, CHFI News Act. Am I correct?" Completely incorrect. I mean, I don't know if it was my diverse tastes. Oh, look, I'm bragging. I grew up listening to CHFI, 104.5 Chum FM, and all these other different stations, but suddenly I started straying away, so I stopped listening to radio for a while, and I started listening to things like Linkin Park, Good Charlotte, that sort of stuff. And then I dug into Eminem for a sec, 8 Mile, what is it, 8 Mile? Is it just 8 Mile?
Well, yeah, that...
One step, no, that's not the one. But Lose Yourself.
Yeah,
Lose Yourself was the song I was listening to, that album 8 Mile, and then all of a sudden I was dragging myself into country music.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't see you as a country guy.
What was that song? Wasn't there a Willie Nelson duet way back when, 2002 or so? They were talking about beer for my horses,
whiskey for my men, beer for my horses.
Yes, and so...
That is my era of country. You just knocked on the door.
I picked up on Country 95.3, and then when they switched, I went to Boom. That's when Howard was there. And so you can see that I don't really have specific genres.
You stuck with that mix of music that Did it, Mix 99 back in the day? Was that one of your stations too?
I used to try so hard, but they played a lot of Julie Black. They played a lot more.
Okay,
urban
yeah,
stuff
they
at
did play a
some
lot
point.
of pop
They
music.
hired Mad
Yeah.
Dog and Billy back then, and I'm just like, I don't understand you anymore. I heard you guys playing the first Nickelback hit. I understood you then.
But
Now I don't.
you were like me, Kiss 92.5 back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, not the urban hip hop
No.
style, not the new fancy dancy
No,
poo-poo
but
sort of.
I'm talking the
music.
Backstreet Boys, the
Yes,
Spice Girls
just
era.
as they're digging into Nickelback, and then all of a sudden they went rock for a while. Evanescence.
Okay, yeah, they were on
Oh
that
my
station
God.
too.
My Immortal, as a 16-year-old, that was a weird song to listen to.
So, what do you want to do next in radio? Based on that's what you listen to, that's
Yes.
what you like, this is what you do. What's next?
Well, that's a really hard question to answer because you know that I've been here
Exactly,
8 years
yeah.
next month.
So,
And
can you think about? Is that something you can
oh my
imagine?
gosh, I'm just so emotionally confused about it because you think like Howard and Fred are getting a little not younger.
Yep.
And you know that life moves on, and there are phases in life. Just as I worked here for the first time, just as I was getting out of school, but I seriously don't find myself working in Toronto radio after this.
Really?
To be honest, not that I don't want to, but you know the kind of broadcasting industry we have now. There's a lot more bean crunchers, folks on computers, people who have to be so, what would you say, jack of all trades about everything, that it might not even be worth the money anymore.
Not even something like producing talk radio or like you do already, but you know what I mean?
You
Like,
know, Sean and I share the same professor years back at Humber. His name's Neil Mather.
Yep.
And so for one assignment, I was announcing for one assignment. And announcing means, you're talking to the radio. You become the DJ, and that's part of your assignment. And so Neil, who used to work at the Weather Network, sounding like this, he actually said, "Hey, Phil, why don't you get into talk radio?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I was introducing Nickelback in that little bit.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I should get into talk radio. You're very informative. You talk a lot about news. Why not? It's like, well, I don't know.
well, it's surprising you kind of you took this route compared
Yes.
to that news route because when I think of you have a lot of that inside knowledge to fill in the blanks in the huge stories. Just
You-
like me
you
telling
would not-
politics in that first segment,
You
that
would
wasn't
punch
very good.
me if you heard me when I entered Humber back in 2010. I sounded like Peter Mansbridge. I wanted to talk like this all day, and all of a sudden, I think at least 2 professors went, "Phil, you sound ridiculous.
Settle down, buddy.
We've heard you talk before. That's not how you announce. Just talk like you do." And that's why I sound like this now. Yeah, pretty much.
So, speaking of talking,
Yes.
let's talk about the fact you could speak so many different languages. How many different languages can you speak?
Well, it depends on how you define the word language. This is going to be a 2-hour show today.
Oh, that's fine.
Well, if you're talking, see, that's the thing. When you put into politics and partisanship, it depends. There's politics around languages, if you can believe that.
No, of course.
So most people will think, well, do I speak Chinese? Of course I do. But there's 26 versions.
That's what I mean.
Yes. So,
And you learned a whole a dialect that your wife
Yes,
speaks.
yes.
And that I find that that's mind blowing to me.
But it's
'cause-
sort of like when you're speaking English and learning French or Spanish. It's somewhere there. You've got the root of it. So I began speaking Cantonese. So my father and mother ironically speak different dialects. They're both Chinese by ethnicity, but they spoke different dialects. And so I couldn't understand either. And my grandmother basically said, "Hey, Phil, I mean, they both understand Cantonese. That's our lingua franca in these overseas communities. So yeah, well, teach a Cantonese first." And so I wound up going to kindergarten in Brampton speaking Cantonese. And so my teacher...
at school?
Yeah, like first day of school. Seriously.
Really?
I'm someone who's born in the same hospital as the Fords. Yet somehow I didn't speak a single word of English until the first day of kindergarten.
Weird. That's not weird, but you know what I mean. Like
Yeah,
that's
they slapped me into
mind-blowing.
ESL.
That's cool.
You know, I picked up English by then. So the good news is at least I've got my English down, and then you've got your standard French, just a little bit, in in peu de français.
I like that.
And so, well, because I've got French relatives, and grandma used to be French per se.
Yep.
And so you've got that part down. And then I started learning my parents' dialects. So now I can understand some of it. I can't speak it, I can hear it. So you've got 2 dialects of Chinese called Tiuzhao and Hainanese.
Okay.
So those are 2 different parts of southern China, sort of like Alabama and Texas,
Mm-hmm.
basically. And then I picked up on Mandarin because of my wife, as you know. And so,
So that's what I find
Yes.
really cool. You learn to speak a whole language to communicate
yeah.
with someone and get to know them and then get to know your wife.
多伦多人的传统有讲广东话. Traditionally, we Torontonians, if you're Chinese, speak Cantonese as our sort of common denominator.
Okay.
But because there are, I guess, changes in education, changes in curricula, folks reestablishing themselves with the mother country, whatever that means, all of a sudden they don't speak Cantonese anymore. They now speak Mandarin as their common dialect. And so my wife, even though she's from my dad's village, I could speak to her in my dad's dialect. We started to speak Mandarin together because her English wasn't good enough. And so that's why I speak with my wife in one dialect, I speak to my parents in another, and Liz speaks English. You get what I mean? My siblings speak English with me. So if there's any other story about Canada, I don't know what else could it be.
That's a super Canadian story for sure.
Gosh, I can't begin to tell you how annoying it is.
Diverse amount of languages you could learn.
God.
But so yeah, kind of speaking on Canada, and your wife's showing up soon or next year, within the next year.
Do you understand how hard it is to bring in an immigrant to Canada?
I've learned through you, my friend. I can't believe. I don't know what you've gone through. I can't understand what you've gone through.
Since
That's
Sean
super
walked
cool.
in the door, I was in this process. This is how bad it is.
And you've been trying just to get your wife here. I only get to see your wife on your phone calls every day after the show, and I mean that's the cutest thing in the world.
Absolutely.
Good husband right here.
Well, good.
But
Acceptable.
no, so based on that, and it's taken so long for your wife to get here. What do you think about this election and the Canadian government based on getting your wife here?
Do you know how angry I am with all the political parties? Like quite literally, I know how
That's
people.
what I just brought up in the first segment.
I can't believe how people think, oh my God, I'm voting Liberal, thus I'm characterized this way. I vote Conservative, thus I'm characterized that way. To be honest, you're voting for the same two old parties. They're going to come into power. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to leave because of their mistakes. But people will forget the fact that both parties have been in some way or another in government since 1867. And if you're asking for a genuine change, this is not the way to do it.
And that's what bothers me too, is like we're not even, I hate to say we're not even looking at the other parties that are available, but like 15% in the polls for NDP,
Yes.
10% in the polls for Greens, and like lower from there for the Bloc Québécois, and then you get to the super separatists, the
PPC?
The PPC.
The big peepees?
Yeah. I don't know.
The thing about it is when people look at a ballot, and I see this as someone who used to work as an elections officer myself. So I worked for Elections Canada and Elections Ontario for like 6 straight years when we had that minority government thing. And so like I even presided through the referendum in Ontario for mixed member proportional elections. And so, how folks who could have changed their voting system rejected it. And so I remember whenever we issue a ballot, and I think you guys should remember this, even if your vote is set, that ballot does not list party first. It is always someone's name first. No matter who you're voting for. Let's say you hate Trudeau, you hate Scheer, you hate my grandmother's MP. Jagmeet Singh is my grandmother's MP over in Burnaby South.
Yep.
Yeah, you know that.
That's where he had to move.
It's hilarious because it's like, oh great, who's serving Vancouver? Some Bramptonian. Oh my gosh, I'm from there. I'm allowed to say that. I think he's great.
Well, that's like my NDP candidate in Wellington, Halton Hills is from Calgary.
Yeah, or the Vaughan NDP. The 2 ridings that cover Vaughan, their NDP association is based in Newmarket. There's not enough people to form an executive in Vaughan. And so what I'm saying is, though, find out who your local candidate is. Sometimes it will tick you off about what they've done or what they're doing because it's not the leader you're voting for, it's for the person who represents you. And in the end, like in my riding, for example, we have someone who ran a carpet store running for the Conservatives. We have a guy who's not related to Greg Sorbera so much, but related enough to share the same last name, who's the incumbent Liberal. And the girl from the NDP is a college student. And then all the other candidates, of course. But my point is, find out who's going to represent you if they win. Because if you don't, and they become one of the biggest loudmouth idiots in Parliament, it's going to be your fault directly, no matter who's Prime Minister.
Exactly.
Yes.
And see what I noticed in my riding, Wellington, Halton Hills, is like Michael Chong is the Conservative guy, he's actually like if he ran as the leader of the Conservatives, I would vote Conservative. To be honest,
Michael Chong personally is probably one of the best candidates in the Conservative Party of Canada because he's got so much experience. He served in the provincial Conservative government years ago. Like he's a measured voice in comparison to some of the people.
I just find in Wellington Hall, he's going to get elected.
Yes.
Like, it's just, he's done a good
It's
job.
Michael Chong. Who else, right?
The area has always been notoriously conservative. They're not going to really change their minds now. Just
The guy
because
hasn't done anything to kill himself.
Exactly. He's done
Yes.
nothing wrong, so I don't see why he wouldn't get reelected. But then we have there was a doctor running, I don't remember what her, Dr. Leslie Barron or something,
Yes.
in Liberals. We didn't have an NDP candidate for a long time.
You probably just had it last week, right?
We had PPC signs up, I think, first in all of Wellington,
You
Halton Hills.
people from Halton, yeah, right. Respect for taxpayers.
Oh,
When you
man.
drive to Toronto, 2 regions away, where Torontonians pay their taxes. Just a reminder, folks. If you're going all PPC, at least do your thing and demonstrate your actual beliefs. Thank you. And I speak as someone angry because Highway 7 in Woodbridge is full of Orangeville drivers. Like lots of plates that say Orangeville on there. You can't say someone from Woodbridge went all the way to Orangeville to buy a car.
Nope,
So
you are correct.
Let's safely assume that. It's like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Respect
Well,
for taxpayers.
I don't know. I agree. I think it's messed up. But let's stop being so serious, and I think it's time to sing a tune. I don't know if nobody's recommended one yet. You're welcome to suggest a song for Phil or I to sing. And we're getting some comments here. Hey, guys.
we go.
Good to make the rest of your show. And wow, Phil, ease up on the truth bombs, bro.
Truth bombs? What are you talking about?
That's true.
See, that's one
You've
fact
got the
that Sean
knowledge.
knows that no one else knows on Twitch right now. I come from a family affiliated with conservatives. If you look at, like, for some reason, the nerds that run conservative parties around the world have their international association. They seem to have an international association for conservatives. And if you look under Taiwan, that's my family's party, 3 generations ago. But these were folks who brought in smart cards for public health insurance. And to make it conservative, if you see the doctor more than 8 times a month, a government official will come to you and find out why. So you can be caring and conservative at the same time.
Exactly.
PPC.
And, well, and just to add on to that, too, because the Conservatives announced their climate change plan this week, and it actually wasn't the most ridiculous plan I was thinking it was going to be, just being conservatives. I was expecting it to be, climate change doesn't exist. This is not happening. And his first answer actually was, we're going to widen the roads. That's my answer to climate change.
That's the answer.
That was one of his answers. But no, they came out with an actual platform this week, so it doesn't sound, it's not that bad.
No.
They're actually going to do something instead of liberals planting 2 billion trees.
Well, they probably could, but you probably need the entire country to do it at the same time, 4 days in a row.
So I think we should get into some tunes. Oh, we have a request for the Titanic.
Oh my gosh, we were just talking about this, Sean. My Heart Will Go On, an instrumental, is on my phone.
Oh,
That's terrible, isn't it?
Even better. Okay,
I'm
going to play the.
phone away. Come on.
I'm going to play. Actually, how can I do this so you can hear it?
Anyone want to trump any bits? If you want to put in 100 bits, you can play something else other than the Titanic theme.
Here, you know what?
Maybe
I can
not.
actually just plug my phone in so we
Maybe
can
that would
both
be
hear it.
You want the falsetto or you want the male version?
I think they want the falsetto, usually. Right.
Oh, geez. If you knew me, anyway, if you knew me 10 years ago, I had the full falsetto. I used to do the Jigglypuff song for my sister Jan just to calm her down sometimes. And she'd go, yeah. So,
All right,
you
here we
raise your
go.
little sister, this happens.
Here we go. Celine Dion, of course.
Oh my God.
I'll even let you got the lyrics in front of you, too.
I probably do.
Here we go.
Oh my gosh, this is the actual karaoke track, isn't it? Oh, it's not the official one. All right.
The beautiful Phil with his rendition of My Heart Will Go On the great The Crack of Noon show with Sean Sargent featuring Phil.
Every night in my dreams. Are you sure? I see you. I feel you. That is how I know you. Go on. Far across the distance and spaces between us, you have come to show you. Go on.
This is dreamy and beautiful. near, far, wherever you are.
I believe that the heart does.
The hot dogs?
Go on. That's just the Slim Yon version.
The hot dogs go on.
Once more, you open the door, and you're here in my heart, and my heart will go on and on. Love can touch us one time. This is abridged. And last for a lifetime. And never let go till we're gone. I'm just testing my chords here.
Yeah, no, you're testing all our chords.
Love was when I loved you one true time. I hope to in my life will always go on. Near, far, wherever you are, I believe that my heart does go on.
You're hitting all the notes. I can't believe it.
Once more, you open the door, and you're here in my heart, and my heart will go on and on.
I can't believe you're hitting those notes, man. You're so good. You're so good.
It's been a while.
You're getting so many comments about how good you are. All of
Yeah,
the
right.
regulars are here.
All right, you ready? Oh God, you're going up. You're here. There's nothing I fear, and I know that my heart will go on. I'm gonna go back to
Holy
that.
jeez.
Will stay forever this way. You are safe in my heart, and my heart will go on and on. This is the pop version.
Yeah,
She just goes all the way up there.
I agree. Oh my. OMFG.
Throw your bits now. Go on.
That's bit worthy. I don't know. That is so bit worthy. You just,
Oh,
wow.
thank you, Sean.
All right. All right.
I didn't think I could actually hit that
You,
falsetto.
you crushed that falsetto. Can you do I Believe in a Thing Called Love? Not that we'll do that one next. But
Oh, what do you mean I believe in this?
you know that song?
What is that?
I believe in a thing called love. Just listen to the rhythm of my heart.
Oh, dear. I wish I did know about that song.
By The Darkness. I believe in a thing called love.
I'm not sure if you can see my face, but I don't think I listened to a band called The Darkness. I mean, come on.
Meech just Peter North because of that.
Peter North? You're talking
Yeah.
about NDP, MPP, Peter North?
No.
No.
No,
Because there was once an MPP, if you can believe this, during the Bob Ray years.
Yeah.
Like, even the NDP had its share of sort of sexual scandals. There was a guy named Peter North, and he fell in love with a woman. She cheated on his wife, and the woman happened to be an operative in the PC party.
Well, that could be. Peter North's actually a porn star.
Oh, I see. But I'm talking about 10 years before Peter North, the porn star, where there was
Probably.
Peter North, the MPP.
Yeah. Maybe there.
It's hilarious.
He probably named himself after the
It's like,
MPP.
don't I remember Tom Gibney talking about him? Tom Gibney? Who's that guy?
All right. You guys got to pick a song here because that was amazing and everybody's loving it in
But
the
throw
chat
your
here.
bits. You can't just say you love the song.
Yeah, we're
here for Sean.
We're gonna do one more karaoke song. Maybe I'll join you in this one. But
Like, I
what do you
volunteered
think?
my day off for Sean.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, look at this. This guy's gone out of his way to be here. Look, this is an impressive.
All the
dude
way
right
from
here.
the bridge, you know, I walked all the way to the subway
So
station.
he's not leaving here with any vocal cords left. That's the
No.
goal. And I gotta sing too. I used to sing. I
Yes.
ran my own karaoke business.
That's
So.
true. And Sean also was a music producer as well, right?
Yeah, I graduated in music composition from University of Guelph.
You are asking the two best people on Twitch for karaoke right now.
And you know what? Maybe in the future, there is this thing called Twitch Sings.
Yes, you were
Twitch
talking
Sing
about
Along.
this, yeah.
And that gives you guys in the chat actually a chance to join us, and you can actually sing along with us in karaoke if you guys have a webcam or if you want into that thing.
You just ripped an ethnic radio bit, Amazon, because one of the best rated multicultural radio bits is whenever people call in to sing karaoke, and the best singer gets a prize of like $50 at the Chinese restaurant.
That's
it's
right.
Absurd.
Look at that. Meech donated 100 just for you.
Me Chinese.
All right. Well, there was a request actually. Apparently, Phil Rock's "What a Fool Believes" by the Doobie Brothers.
Oh wow!
Do you know that one?
I know all the words.
You don't know all the words to that? I don't know if I know all the
Came from
words.
somewhere back in the long ago. But does it come with bits? That's the thing. Like great requests, but
Oh yeah, I know. There's got to be a. I agree. So, well, Secret. I don't think he does have any bits.
we're like the elderly
He's
couple
a
in front of
follower.
a Chinese town. You know, there are some Chinese towns, and I remember where, you know, sometimes you'll find some of the, well, it's hard to explain, but when someone has an injury that affects their physical being, they'll sometimes have to sing for their money. And so they'll walk in front of, you know, town squares and banks, and they'll bring their little karaoke set with them and start singing for their supper, quite literally.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, but it's also
I should
pretty
start that.
humiliating, isn't it? Eh?
Well, I mean, like, you should sing for your supper sometimes.
They're like de
not you
facto
specifically.
busters
I
in a
mean,
way, yeah.
well, sometimes at the bar, some people don't deserve their supper.
Well, you know, my uncle over in China, you know, whenever you visit him, he's got such a big house right in front of the Agricultural Bank of China, and so that's where they all do all the karaoke every day.
All right. You know what? I don't know what's going to come, so let's just pick ourselves a song.
Yes.
What are you in the mood for singing, my friend? This is your spotlight.
Well, if you want to join in, Sean, just
Of
let me know
course,
what kind of
you know.
song you want, and then off we go. As long as it's
Ooh, yeah. How about, do you know the song Brandy? Do you know that song?
Brandy, You're a Fine Girl.
Yeah, Brandy, You're a Fine Girl.
I haven't heard that song in about 20 years now. It's hard for you just think of it, a 10-year-old who listens to Brandy, You're a Fine Girl. It's just really confusing.
That was me.
Then the next
that
song
was
is
me, totally
I'm a
me.
Slave for You from Britney Spears. It's like that. That's what it sounded like.
I don't know that one, but I do know a bunch of. I mean, I'd join you on some Backstreet Boys or Britney Spears or NSYNC or something. I grew up on all that crap too. Sorry,
Well, if you feel like it, that's what matters.
it's up to you.
Yes.
Your choice here.
Oh my God.
Any song you want to sing.
I have no idea what you feel like. That's the thing. We're
Uh,
gonna spend the next half an hour to do
we'll
this,
go-
and that'll be the last song.
we'll do NSYNC. How about that?
Yes. Oh, I used to say that. What was it? I Want You Back or something? There was a song.
Is
from
it that
NSYNC.
one, or do you want
Oh no, I used
Tearing
to have.
Up My Heart?
Oh, Tearing Up My Heart is the song I'm talking about. So this song, I used to make a comedy bit of this as a kid. I'm like, you know, it's sort of like listening to a heart patient visit his doctor. Baby, I don't understand what I'm trying to tell you in the corner of my mind.
All right, I don't know
It's like, what?
how we're both gonna look at this small ass
Oh,
phone that we're
I should
watching
be
the
okay for
karaoke.
some
lyrics.
of it, yes.
Yeah, for the most part, I think I'm good too. But just in case, and I don't know how
Or
the
was it
quality of this is gonna be, but we'll see.
It's tearing up my heart when I'm with you. Get it, heart disease patient? When you're apart,
All right.
I feel it too.
Oh yeah, this is the quality karaoke company.
Oh my gosh. They do have official instrumentals if you feel like it.
This is the one I would be playing at the bar. You better be knowing how to sing to crappy pop karaoke
gosh.
music right here. Here we go. Backstreet Boys. No, NSYNC.
Is it NSYNC?
Hey, yeah. You got this one.
Baby, I don't understand just why we can't be lovers. Things are getting out of hand. Ew. Trying too much, but baby, we can't win.
Let it go. If you want me, girl, let me know. I am down on my knees. I can't take it anymore. It's tearing up my heart when I'm with you. But when we are apart, I feel it too. And no matter what I do, I feel the pain with or without you. alright.
Baby, don't misunderstand.
Don't misunderstand
what I'm trying to tell ya. In the corner of my mind, baby, it feels like we're running out of time.
Let it go. If you want me, girl, let me know. I am down on my knees. I can't take it anymore. It's tearing up my heart when I'm with you. But when we are apart, I feel it too. And no matter what I do, I feel the pain. With or without you, tearing up my heart and soul. We're apart, I feel it too. And no matter what I do, I feel the pain. With or without you, when I'm with
heart and soul.
when we are apart, I feel it too. And no matter what I do, I feel the pain. With or without you, and no matter what I do, I feel the pain. With or without you. Boom. Boom. 97.3 featuring Phil and
my God. A
Sean.
little loft there.
Epic. That was epic. And I agree, we should change the lyrics to "It's tearing up my fart when I make poo."
Someone's been listening.
Oh, Meech. Always with the
Oh,
ones.
dear.
One-liners. Always with the ones.
I don't understand what I'm trying to tell you. It's a heart thing. It's a,
Yeah,
you got to see the
karaoke is a lot like trying to find something on Netflix to
Yes.
watch. It ends up being a good 20, 30 minutes for a whole 2-minute act.
That's very true. That's very true.
Nothing wrong with that. But I just want to say thank you for coming, Phil.
Awesome sauce.
I'm going to try and get you to come back whenever you're available.
Yeah,
Everybody
absolutely.
loves
Yeah.
us hanging out, it seems like. And it's just this is just a friendly, fun show. I love that you
Absolutely.
guys chat with us. And this is a chance to really ask Phil some questions.
I could do the Chinese drama bit now. Come on, guys, put some bits in Sean's pocket. This literally goes to Sean's pocket. If you want me here, you need him to be here first.
Bid it up, guys.
All right?
Bid it up.
Oh my God.
Thank you, Meech. I appreciate that 100 bits at a whole $1. You paid for half my coffee.
A Canadian dollar, right, or a U.S. dollar?
As far as I know, American dollar.
What, $1.32?
But then they take some taxes off things. So I get I'll take 70 cents.
Are you
Whatever.
sure he can afford that? 100 bits?
Yeah, big spender. Thanks, Meech. Appreciate it, buddy. All right, thank you, Phil. Thanks for joining us. We're going to take another quick break here and play a little bit of tunes for you. Let's stick with the fun theme. We're going to play Here Is Macklemore, and We Danced.
Is he dancing?
Enjoy, friends. I'll be right back with your science news coming up next.
And we danced, and we cried, and we laughed, and had a really, really, really good time. Take my hand, let's have a blast, and remember this moment for the rest of our lives. Our lives. Our lives. Tonight, cause tonight's the night, am I right? Dance feels like a night for a party. My nature, so naughty. There's a knock on the door, it's the neighbors. Quick cock blocking, we're having a holdout. You hose down, don't let me pull my hose out. Cause it's big, long, pink, strong. I've been known the time slack all night long. Grab my hand, play this song. DJ, save my life, come on. Leave your fear, back off the wall. Free your feet and pussy pop. If you don't have a pussy, pop a cock into a boot tie. To a bullseye, yeah. And we danced, and we cried, and we laughed, and had a really, really, really good time. Take my hand, let's have a blast, and remember this moment for the rest of our lives. I am not going going to stand on the wall. I will dance, I will dance, I will break that ass off. And I see you in the corner looking so small, doing the robot like if I died tonight, at least I went hard. I will not give a damn who watches me. I will live, liberate the thoughts in me. I will be the disco ball freak and give my all to whatever girl's booty I'm freaking on. I'm not skeeting, no, it's just freaking hot. Alright, I skeeted. I will not be a mannequin, no, the ego banish it. The roof's on fire, let's burn down the Vatican. I will moonwalk to Pluto in honor of Michael Jackson. In heaven he'll be saying, that man is tired of dancing. Rip to the king, Michael Jackson. We learned it all from you. Dedicate this to the dance floor. Party out the sorrow till tomorrow morning happens. We pledge allegiance to the DJ. Put your hands up. And we danced, and we cried, and we laughed, and had a really, really, really good time. Take my hand, let's have a blast, and remember this moment for the rest of our.
You see me looking at you from that bar right over there, but your friends are huddled up and they are hating on a player. I just wanna dance with you, get on the back of you, tip tap the boots, extract the truth. Dance with you, get on the back of you, dance, awesome. Oh, we oh, we oh, oh, we oh, we oh. Hey oh, hey oh, hey oh, hey oh. Ooh-ah-ba-bo, zippity-wee-ba-ba-da-ba-ba, zippity-wee-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Go. Ladies, I just wanna dance with you. I just wanna dance with you. Come here. Go. Alright, go. I see you, girl. Get on it. I just wanna dance with you. I just wanna dance with you. And we danced, and we cried, and we laughed, and had a really, really, really good time. Take my hand, let's have a blast, and remember this moment for the rest of our lives.
Me and my best friends cruising down West End Street, hiding from cops and driving circles around the block all week. Now all of my friends died out on West End Street. They say we're born to die young, but we're just trying to live in peace. So maybe heaven is a ghetto with no bad blocks, Shangri-La dealers at the bus stop, and maybe God is just a cop that we can fast talk. So if you're guilty and you know it, put your hands up, 'cause karma's just a different word for bad luck. And what if death is just another pair of handcuffs? Then we better run. Friends went crazy on LSD, sailing their cars through the big bright city streets, and everyone who knows our name says that we ever gonna change. They say we're born to die young, but we're trying to find a better way. They say we're born to die young, but we're trying to find a better way. Maybe heaven is a ghetto with no bad blocks, Shangri-La dealers at the bus stop, and maybe God is just a cop that we can fast talk. So if you're guilty and you know it, put your hands up, 'cause karma's just a different word for bad luck. And what if death is just another pair of handcuffs? Then we better run.
What's up, man? I'm just sitting in my head. And I'm going to be 32 years old tomorrow. And I feel half completely alive and half completely dead.
Day after day, they say we're born to die young, but we're gonna find a better way. Hope and we pray. Day after day, they say we're born to die young, but we're gonna find a better way. So maybe heaven is a ghetto with no bad blocks, Shangri-La dealers at the bus stop, and maybe God is just a cop that we can fast talk. So if you're guilty and you know it, put your hands up, 'cause karma's just a different word for bad luck. And what if death is just another pair of handcuffs? Then you better run. Better run. You better
All right, welcome back, everybody. That was kind of cool having Phil here. And I'll switch back to this main screen here so you don't have to look at random stuff scrolling across, and you guys can chat. Join me in the chat, please. Oh, you guys can't even hear me, can you? There we go. Now you can hear me. Join me in the chat. Join me in the chat. We've got lots to talk about still, and that was great to have Phil with us. Do you not think he is the best singer ever? Like, I don't know how he hit all those notes in Titanic. That was amazing. That was so cool. I love hearing him sing because I've actually like somewhat trained in singing. I did go to university as well for music composition. I had to take instruments, and a lot of that ended up being singing. And I played saxophone back in the day, but you know, I didn't really want to play my saxophone at university, so I did a lot of singing and composing. That's why I was there. But yeah, I don't know how that guy learned to sing like that. That's so amazing. It's so cool. Anyway, we're going to move right along. I know I said I was coming up with science news next, but I totally forgot to touch on these topics, which are movies, TV, and music. I kind of talk about that usually in my second segment here. And there is a bit of new stuff coming out, stuff that we should talk about, and, you know, stuff that's in the news that's kind of fun. Let's get right into it here with the Joker movie that came out this week. It's in theaters now. It's actually received a lot of heat because it came out, and or since it came out, and it was known it was going to come out. There's a lot of critics kind of not too pumped about what is happening. But one of the critics actually has said, a major critic in the States has said, it's a toxic rally cry for self-pitying incels, which, be a bit harsh on this film. It's the DC movie's biggest villain. And I'm pumped for this movie. It just seems to be getting a lot of heat. But yeah, in particular, a segment of reviewers has characterized the film as that, a toxic rally cry for self-pitying incels. So incels, if you don't know, are involuntarily celibate guys online. They were just resentful against women and men who are successfully or more sexually successful than them. And it was like that guy that drove the van down the road or down the sidewalks here in Halton or in Toronto. He was an incel, but as far as I've heard and read and seen, a lot of reviewers are saying it's latching onto that subject, which is not something we want to encourage in society. Also, this movie Joker is receiving heat because victims of the 2012 mass shooting in Aurora, Colorado. We've been warned because of that happened. The U.S. military has warned service members there's a potential threat here for mass violence at screenings, and so at the actual red carpet, there was something having to do with, it was like minimal red carpet action. A lot of people weren't allowed to be near the actual stars or anything dressed like Joker. And on top of that, the U.S. military being involved, police in Los Angeles and New York are planning, and places like that are planning to increase their presence at cinemas this weekend because this is it's a scary topic, you know. Cham in Alberta. Albert. Oh no. Is Albert in the house? Oh no. Anyway, whatever. I don't need to talk about Albert. Incel. Well, no. I shouldn't say that. We don't want to be mean to people just because. He seems like a confused fellow, though. Thank you for listening, if you're listening. But, moving right along, because I don't want to stick with the incel topic, and that's not fun. There is a movie trailer that came out. So speaking of Joker and DC Comics, the Harley Quinn movie the trailer came out this week, and it's called Birds of Prey, starring Margot Robbie again. She played Harley Quinn before in Suicide Squad, and this is going to be our intro to her life now. So not only will we have this Joker movie that's out where it's an introduction to where this character came from, we'll have the same thing for Harley Quinn. And it seems like this is what DC's kind of doing now, is giving us those origin stories so they can actually get to something like a real Justice League movie eventually. And also in theaters, or coming out in theaters, is this Will Smith movie, Gemini Man. I don't know if you heard about this one. It actually looks pretty cool because it's pretty revolutionary in the cinematic world. This idea of digital youthification, big words, but yeah, Will Smith is actually in this movie, looks years and years younger. They did this all with computer graphics and you know, CGI, and it's amazing what they managed to do. He looks like he did back in the Fresh Prince days almost. Well, I mean, different haircut, but no, he looks young. He managed to work. It's going to be a cool film to actually witness because, hey, if they can get away with this in a big blockbuster Will Smith movie, who knows what they're going to do with it next? I mean, anybody could use this technology. It's going to be cool. Also, coming to Netflix October 11th, El Camino finally comes out, which is, if any of you guys are not aware, the follow-up movie for Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad. It's going to be kind of cool. We're going to get to see, as far as I know, I think it's the after story, what happened to Jesse. Because he takes off in that car at the end of the movie, or at the end of the TV show, and he kind of just celebrates, and it was awesome. I love Breaking Bad. It's going to be great to kind of see that come back, and now it's going to be on Netflix, so like that's a huge show, and a huge movie that we've all been waiting for, and it's going on Netflix. I get to watch it next weekend. All right, moving right along. So yeah, Netflix released their schedule they're coming out with. Let me just have a look at this. The Big Bang Theory is going to be added to Netflix, or it already was on Tuesday. And today, Big Mouth Season 3 comes out on Netflix, which is actually kind of a hilarious show. You guys should check that one out. I could play the trailer. No, you guys don't need to see the trailer. Check it out, though. Look at the trailer yourself. That's a hilarious show. And yeah, what else? There was a couple other movies. Riverdale Season 4. I don't know if you're into that, but that's the Archie comic books. Betty and Veronica and Jughead, but all grown up into a teen drama. But that's coming on... Where did I just read that? Thursday the 10th, next week. You can watch Riverdale Season 4. Other than that, though, not a lot for the rest of the month. Although there was a comedy special, Nikki Glasser. I don't know if you guys are familiar with her. She's on Sirius XM. I don't know if she's on the Comedy Channel. I regularly tune into her. She does the You Awake or You Woke, something like that on Sirius XM. Very funny. It's pretty I want to say it's mostly female-oriented jokes. A lot of it is she talks sex and girls stuff that, you know, squirting, all that. I don't know. It's still funny. You're gonna want to check her out. She's like up and coming huge comedian, and probably the next, like she's like my generation of comedians starting to come out and well spoken. I think she's like 35. Smart girl though, smart lady, and yeah. Moving on from TV and movies, The Who came out with a new song. I'm gonna play that for you guys starting in the next break here. But they dropped this new song yesterday, which is kind of like a throwback to the original way of writing a good song. I guess that's the best way for me to put it. The name of the song, though, is All This Music Must Fade. And it's literally poking the bear that is the pop music industry and just how easy it is to write a song that no one's going to remember. It's well thought out. It's a good idea. Good on you, The Who. And it really does sound like their old stuff. So I'm a fan. I love The Who. I always have been a huge Who fan. And this is going to be a great, thank you. Thank you for coming out with new music. Remaining relevant to my crowd and my friends and my audience, really. Like, it's a good tune. Anyway, let's just get right into that song. We're gonna come back with some more science news, and then we got weird, crazy stuff to talk about after that. So stick around, guys. I got lots to talk about and lots of good tunes to play for you. All right, where are we gonna go with that? Here we go. Here's the new Who song. Make sure I got everything turned on for you. All right, here is The Who. All This Music Must Fade. On the Crack of Noon with Sean Sargent. Stick around, guys. I'll be back with some more science news.
I don't care. I know you're gonna hate this song. That's it. We never really got along. It's not new, not diverse. It won't light up your parade. It's just simple verse. All this music will fade, just like the edge of a blade. All this music will fade, just like the edge of a blade. I'm long gone, and I ain't never coming back. What's wrong? I never really quite got black. I'm not blue, I'm not pink, I'm just gray, I'm afraid. And it seems in a blink, all this music will fade, just like the edge of a blade. All this music will fade, just like the edge of a blade. What's yours is yours, and what's mine is mine. What's mine is yours, and what's yours is mine. What's mine is yours, and what's yours is mine. What's yours is yours, and what's mine is mine. I don't mind other guys ripping off my song. I'd be lying if I said I never done no wrong. All this sound what's mine is mine, and what's mine is yours. Who gives a fuck?
Why you had to hide away for so long? Where did we go wrong? Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why you had to hide away for so long. Where did we go wrong? Sky, please tell us why you had to hide away for so long. Where did we go wrong? Hey there, Mr. Blue, it's a place to be with you. Look around, see what you do. Everybody smiles at you. Hey there, Mr. Blue, it's a place to be with you. Look around, see what you do. Everybody smiles at you. Mr. Blue Sky, Mr. Blue Sky, Mr. Blue Sky.
Stop running in the hall. Good to stop. Slow down, sir. Slow down, sir. Stop running in the hall, sir. Anthony, get the class. You're never gonna become a college student at that rate.
Got it. Fucking science. Yeah, fucking science, bro.
Lab coat, check. Goggles, check. Nodules, check. Fucking science, bro.
Hiya, lads. Welcome to science class. Bob, quit writing raps in your log sheet. No one's gonna sign your ass. Okay, let's get scientific. Fossil fuels come from years and years of biodecomposition. It's really just scientific. Why didn't all the fossils turn to oil? Some did, some didn't. Anyway, didn't Rockefeller pay a scientist off the year Geneva Convention? Wait, what was that? You wanna come up here in front of class? What, you wanna teach? You really think you're smarter than me? No, sir. Sit down. Here's your homework on the atom bomb and the World War, how it affected us then and now. Well, I seen the footage and I really just want some answers. How does someone film an atomic bomb and it doesn't destroy the camera? I mean, I was just... Bro, I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know. Fucking science, bro!
Lab coat,
Okay.
check. Goggles,
Science!
check. Nodules, check.
Fucking science, bro. Welcome to history! We evolved from Neanderthals. That is no mystery!
Alright, this is more just
Why
supposed
is
to be
there
an
no
intro
monkey
song.
house?
I'm not really enjoying it. I don't know if anybody else is really enjoying it, but it is kind of funny, good tune. I like playing it. I have fun. I have my fun. Can't be too serious all the time, especially when I'm about to talk science news. Science. Yes, we have some science news. I always have my science news, and I know you guys like the science news, so you can't even hear me. Of course you can't. I always turn off that thing, and you can't hear me, and I never forget to look back down there, because I'm doing everything here, doing everything there. Damn it, every time. But yeah, what I was saying was, I don't even know if you guys even like that song, but I think it's the best intro for some of my science bits. Because, yeah, I don't know, kind of fun. And all about, don't believe in science, but the science, bro. All right, moving right along. We got lots to talk about that I brought to the table at the Humble and Fred show this week. Look, I got pages and pages and pages and pages and pages and pages of notes and notes and notes and notes and notes and more notes. Oh, that page is empty. I wrote on the back of a couple of them though. See, I do some research. I don't just wing this, although it may sound like it sometimes. I try not to, but, you know, I got 9 third-degree concussions. I don't know if any of you guys know that about me. I got a lot of concussions from playing lacrosse, a high-level lacrosse most of my life. I ended up playing for Team Ireland lacrosse at some point, and when I was 18, 19, and played in the Nationals, I played in the Nationals, and that's what got me to playing to Team Ireland. And then I played in the World Championships. But, yeah, so if anyone's qualified to talk science, it's definitely the guy with 9 third-degree concussions. That's totally, both times you thought you could hear you, I could. You got the moon rocks? I did get the moon rocks. I tried those, so, okay. I don't know if any of you guys know what the moon rocks are. Moon rock is a nug of weed dipped into honey oil and then rolled in keef, which is the crystals, the THC portion of all the small little crystals that you roll it in. And anyway, I bought it. It was like $50 apparently. More than that, I don't know. But I don't know, you're not supposed to talk about pricing and everything, but whatever. We're just having fun here. But yeah, moon rocks, it was interesting. That's the most potent thing I've ever smoked. I don't know if I recommend it if you don't smoke, but check it out. Yeah, I just ordered some other stuff online, so we'll see what happens. I got some deliveries coming in, and looks like Howard and I are going to have a fun week of watching Netflix and stuff that's going on there. Anyway, moving right along, we're going to stick with this segment is our science news, if I can get that page to go away. Starting with There's a lot of space news this week. Lots of just things that happened in space and are going to happen in space, and researchers talking about space and the future and the past of space. But apparently, the Andromeda Galaxy, the galaxy that's closest to our galaxy, is notoriously a bit of an asshole. It apparently, I'm looking at the wrong one. Andromeda Galaxy. Yes. So astronomers have predicted that in about 4 billion years, the Andromeda Galaxy will collide with our galaxy, the Milky Way. And that's interesting because Andromeda has been known to has already gobbled up galaxies before. That's why it's so large. Gobbled up what was once the third largest galaxy behind Andromeda, and it was at least 20 times larger than any galaxy that has ever emerged with the Milky Way. Kind of this cannibalistic behavior of the Andromeda Galaxy is something we may need to worry about in 4 billion years, but not right now. And really all that really says is they expect the night sky, when something like that were to happen, or the sky will obviously be changed. It will not be anything like what we see today, but seeing 2 galaxies in the night sky, I can only imagine how beautiful that is. That's all we see in movies and stuff. We don't get to see that in real life. So tell your ancestors in 4 billion years to have a look up. It's going to be an interesting sight to see. In other space news, though, Venus, apparently, according to researchers, they discovered in a NASA mission that their Pioneer Venus mission, that was the name of the mission to Venus back in 1978, showed signs of past oceans on the surface, which, okay, so we've kind of known that for a little bit. But what NASA has kind of discovered since then is that the planet went from being what they think is like an Earth-like globe, a planet like ours is now, and it's changed over time because of a similar effect that we experience here with our climate, the greenhouse effect. They think over 3 million years ago, or I think it was more than that. What was it? 7 million years? Millions of years ago, 700 million years ago, I was off by a few hundred, experienced a greenhouse effect that caused the now hot place that Venus is. So that's kind of interesting that it's 700 million years later, but there could potentially be signs of past life, or at least an Earth-like atmosphere and Earth-like planet. It's kind of cool that other planets in our solar system could have also held life. And speaking of that, there's also belief, or they've found, or they're afraid to announce too, the NASA chief scientist said, we're close to finding life on Mars, but we're not ready. He says, they're worried that it's going to create a whole new line of thinking because they've sent rovers to Mars. They have 2 planned missions to send to Mars where they're going to start drilling into the ground to see. They know that there could have potentially been water also on Mars, so they want to see by digging into the ground what that could teach them, and that could actually unfold things like small little creatures, fossils, anything of that nature that would be around the water in the ground. That's all stuff that we didn't know was there before. But really what they're trying to say is knowledge that there could be life on Mars will really lead to a lot of freaking changes here on Earth and how we think we came about. So that could change thoughts on evolution. It could change thoughts on the Big Bang. It could change thoughts on a whole lot and how life started on Earth. So interesting science happening out there in the space world. Moving right along, there is an octopus that researchers have found they found that octopus can dream. So, and when they do, this specific octopus changes colors. So they couldn't figure out why this octopus was changing colors. It was actually, I believe, like a family pet, or these scientists were keeping this octopus, and they noticed that when because octopus are very intelligent beings, they can experience emotions. They react. They're known for playing games of hide and seek in their wherever they live. That's what we're looking for. Wow, 1,000 bits for Phil. That's amazing. Thanks, Mike. That's amazing. Awesome. Well, you know what? If you remind me, I will get Hummel and Fred on Monday to pick a song of your choosing for Phil to sing. That's on the channel. That's what we say we will do. So remind me, or I'll try and remember. But if I don't, remind me, because I owe you a song. Phil owes you a song. And you can choose. Anyway, yeah. Moving right along, I wanted to bring up that octopus story only because there's another story in the news about the environment saying 1 in 5 vertebrates are sold on the wildlife market, which, wow, holy crap. We have really, as a human species, taken over this world if 1 in 5 of the upright creatures, vertebrates, that means bones, yeah, we control them, and they're sold on the market. That's bizarre, crazy news. Other than that, there isn't a whole lot of real, the interesting science news that I like to tell, other than if you go on this website, it's called iflscience.com. I effing love science. That's what that stands for. They have a competition for the fattest bear picture, and I think that's the coolest thing in the world. You guys should get close to fat bears and take pictures. I'm going to see if I can post a link so you guys can check out the fat bear pictures, but yeah, that's pretty cool. That's something that I'd be into. Fat bear pictures. You're not running too fast after me. And one more story, sure, you know what, I'll say this one. I wasn't even going to say this, but there was mysterious fireballs that rained down on Chile this past week, and experts say it was not meteorites, so they're not quite sure what exactly was raining down, fire-like coming down from the heavens above on the southernmost island in Chile. And so there's videos of it all online. People were posting it on Twitter. There was news corporations like, what the hell's going on? And all they really found were the burnt places where these things landed. So they don't know what it was. They don't know what entered, and they don't know what was burning up. It could be falling pieces of a Russian spacecraft, but that's really the only thing they think it could be, which is weird because that Russian spacecraft in 1969 had a curious event that led to a curious event that happened in 1997. She got brightly, a woman in the U.S. got lightly brushed by a material that turned out to be from Delta II rocket booster, which was in 1969. Crazy. Things coming out of the space from the past. Back to space in the past. All right, guys, I'm going to keep playing some tunes for you. That's my science news, and we're going to come back with my ridiculous news. You're here with me on the crack of noon with Sean Sargent. Don't like to take things too seriously, so let's play some not serious music. All right, what can we go off right next? I know you guys aren't huge fans of hip-hop, I guess, like I am. Generational, that's okay. You don't have to like hip-hop, but every now and then I do like to play some hip-hop songs. I try and keep it rock-friendly hip-hop songs that you guys can still enjoy, so check out some of these tunes. Let's see what we want to play. This one I more want to show a music video one day. I'll get to there. We'll get to there. One day we'll play music videos and you guys can actually see more than just my face the whole time. But anyway, here's some music for everybody to enjoy. Stick around.
and I can't see that it's a
Welcome back, everybody. This is the final segment of my Crack of Noon show. Episode 3. Big first third episode. Number 1 was good. Number 2 was not so good because the bell guy kept showing up and I couldn't stay on here and I played way too much music. This one's not too bad, though, I'd say. And I want to thank Phil for coming in. Let's get right into the last segment here, though. This is all the fun news that I bring to the table for Hummel and Fred. It's not anything serious, nothing crazy, but all fun stuff. I seem to find some crazy stories out there, and let's jump right into it. First off, we have a driverless Tesla that was pulled over. Let me get my notes. Where are you? Yes, so this is a big topic in all of electric cars that are coming out now, and you know, Teslas have their autopilot function and the ability to sit back. And a lot of those electric cars that's what they're doing now. Can you guys not hear me? Did I not turn anything on again? Typical. All right, well, I'll start all over again. You guys didn't even hear me. I got to get better at that. I don't know. This board is confusing as hell because I'm on the computer and the board. Normally when you're doing radio, you're just on the board. The computer is all automated and fixed up for you, and you don't have to do a whole lot of switcheroos. But here I am in a different situation because Humble and Fred are awesome, and their podcast is not the radio. It's different. And we just broadcast through something else. Anyway, enough of that technical crap mumbo jumbo. This is what I was going to talk about. This is the final segment every week in this show, The Crack of Noon. I talk about the weird news, the stuff I brought to Humble and Fred. The first topic I want to talk about is this driverless Tesla car. It got pulled over in somewhere in the States. Anyway, this Tesla car was being driven by a YouTuber that was testing the Smart Summon. Gives you the ability to drive this car while you're not inside it. But apparently this car, the Tesla, while he was driving it from not sitting in the actual car, he ran a stop sign and the car got pulled over by a police officer. And when the police officer walked up, there's photos all here because there was webcams and cameras in the Tesla for this guy that he was a YouTuber. So it's kind of funny, the pictures. I want to see if I can show them to you guys. The cop walks up to the car, and obviously there's no one in there. And he's just kind of confused. Can I give a ticket to a car with no one in it? Because he did technically run a stop sign, but there's no one in the car. Can I ticket the car owner for it driving itself? There's a little bit of funky area there that I don't think anyone's really thought about, driving a car remote controlled from a different place. So yeah, you can see in the pictures. I don't know how I'm going to show this to you guys. Let's try here. No, that's not it. Let's try this. Bear with me for 1 second while I pop this up. No, of course. Let's get the page. Oh, this is real entertaining when I just make sound effects. There we go. Work. Can you see it? Yes, there we go. I can show it to you guys. All right, so yeah, if you look on the side here, I'll try and scroll down if I can. I don't know how I'm going to scroll down because I'm just showing you the actual page. This is all new. We're just learning at the same time, everybody. Can I scroll down? No, I can't scroll down. Well, that's freaking useful. What do I do? Can I do this? Can I do that? Can you do that? Come on, work. All right, I can't do it. Anyway, here is the actual page I'm trying to show you guys. There you can see the name of the story I'm looking at. Maybe search it for yourselves. But yeah, on that page it shows the pictures of the cop walking up to this. There's nobody inside the car, and it's a Tesla. So just most confused look on this cop's face because the window's down in the front seat too. So he's looking like, what? Kind of funny. Check that out. Funny pictures. Moving right along, Apple is taking some heat right now from a guy in Russia who is suing them because he says his phone made him gay. Where's the rest of that story? Because that's ridiculous news. Yes, a man in Russia has launched a lawsuit against Apple after he alleged that his phone turned him gay. His name, D. Razumilov, wants 1 million rupees, whatever, after he was given 69 gay coins of cryptocurrency instead of Bitcoin he had been expecting. And the money came with a message in English saying, "Don't judge without trying." And so he did what he was told. He tried, and this is in the court papers. He says, "I thought, indeed, how can I judge something without trying it?" And decided to try same-sex relationships. And seems like he was hooked for a bit, but you could say after the passage of 2 months that I mired in intimacy with a member of my own sex and can't get out. I have a steady boyfriend. I don't know how to explain it to my parents. After receiving the aforementioned message, my life has changed for the worse and will never be normal again. So he's suing Apple because he received gay coins and then just like went with it. Interesting. Yeah, don't trust gay coins as your judgment for whether or not you're gay. Probably a safe bet. Yeah, that's some interesting news, and so is this. There is a Japanese food chain. I have to find a picture for this one for you guys. This is insane. A Japanese food chain is released an ad featuring a naked Ronald McDonald. Why won't you let me do this? There we go. Yeah, let's find a way to put this one up here. Naked Ronald McDonald's with tubes made of fries as their advertising plan. Check this out if I can get it up. Please show. Please show. You know. Why are you being so difficult today? I can do this all when you guys are watching the Hummel and Fred show, and then I try and do it on my own, and it's just not wanting to work with us. So let's try again. I got to add a source. I got to window capture, and then we're going to do that, and then we're going to do this, and then we're going to add a new one, and then everything should be okay. Add source. Cool. And then let's all look for this. There we go. Yeah, there it is. Now that's all you can see. Wow. Thanks, Streamlabs. Really helping us out here. Hit the screen, and then I'm just gonna do one of those. There you go. Okay, you can still see me. So have a look at that. Japanese food chain released an ad featuring kind of like a sexy naked Ronald McDonald. Can I scroll down on the page so you guys can see more? You should be able to see more if I do that. Look at that. French fry pubes. French fry pubes. That's what they advertise for fast food in Japan. Japan food chain has Ronald McDonald wearing fry pubes. Looking sexy there, Ronald. I don't know what the actual name of the company is, but yes, here's the name. Popular Japanese izakaya casual pubs chain Yotiba has released an ad. Not safe for work, Ronald McDonald. So, you ever thought about Ronald McDonald's in sexy ways? You can now go to a restaurant where they offer sexy Ronald McDonald ads. Next, yes, Garfield. I don't know if you guys all read that comic, and there was a TV show when I was a kid. The Garfield comic. Apparently, in Garfield, New Jersey, they're having a bit of a problem with cats. The town is being overrun with stray cats, and they kind of don't know what to do about fornicating cats in the bushes. They have a problem with fornicating cats, and Garfield, New Jersey is being overrun with cats. Funny. Garfield, you're supposed to be lazy. Not so lazy in Garfield, New Jersey. San Lorenzo, moving to San Lorenzo, California. I guess I could take that thing off the screen for you guys. You don't have to look at old news now. I already told you about that, guys. My goodness. San Lorenzo, California, there was a 102-year-old woman that, one of the oldest women in the United States, received an early termination fee from DirecTV when she died. I don't know about you, but when I turn 102, I don't want to have to worry about... This lady was around before TVs were around. So I think she outlives this fee she needs to pay. I think she beats you. Where is the rest of the story? Garfield. Isabella Albright was her name. Isabel Albright of San Lorenzo was one of the oldest people in the States, as I said. And she lived through like 2 world wars, 18 presidents, 6 moon landings, but she didn't live through her TV contract. satellite TV contract, apparently. So the family has been trying to deal with this because when she passed away, they were trying to close up her house and, deal with her assets and estate and everything. And DirecTV told the family they were going to charge the family $160 for an early termination fee when she's gone. Nobody's living. They're selling the house, but they have to pay to keep the service at a house that's not theirs. So, interesting. Don't be signing on to long-term contracts without reading the fine print, but that kind of is what it seems. That's what it seems happened here. It seems like the family signed a 2-year agreement on DirecTV while she was living, or her mother. They were staying in mother-in-law's hospice temporarily, and they signed a 2-year contract, not knowing it was a 2-year contract, but thinking they could get out of it at any time, especially if someone were to die and it were under their name. But that's not the case, and so one of the bills that has to be paid for this 2-year contract, you got to pay your mom's TV bill. That's pretty brutal. DirecTV, figure it out. 102-year-old woman was around before TV, and you're charging her? That's messed up. But, okay, on to some more Sean Sargent news right here. Let's see if you guys like the looks of this. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Costco is selling advent calendars made of beer. Beer, 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 beer. Yep, you can go to Costco this, I want to say just this fall. I'm not sure exactly when it is. But it's got 24 doors with cans of beer behind this thing. They have already had, and there's already been around candy and booze pop-up things and advent calendars and stuff like that. But the beer advent calendar is probably, that's good on you. Christmas beer advent calendar. It goes for $60. But it's German beer too. At $59.99, they say it's a bit pricey to get, but that's how much you would normally pay for, 24 good quality beers. You're not buying the Canadian, the Coors Light, the Budweisers, and all that stuff. This is German beer, different types of German beer. So, pretty cool. I don't know if that'll be in our Costco's. Here it says it's available October 1st. So, be aware, you can get your beer on this Christmas. While the kids are taking their little chocolate things out, we can have a pint. And speaking of Christmas, here's my last little tidbit of info that I can throw your way this week. Santa Claus has been elected as to the North Pole City Council. One of 2 people that was elected. And if that's proof that he's real, I don't know. But Fairbanks, in an unofficial election results, said Santa Claus and Thomas R. McGee have garnered enough votes to fill the 2 vacant city council seats for the city of North Pole. With 100% of the precincts reporting, Santa Claus received 102 votes with 41.63%, and Thomas R. McGee brought in 85 votes, or 34.69%. There was another person, Carly Nelson, had 22.45% of the votes, and there was 2 other people. The other one received 55 votes. But the votes will not be official until next week, so maybe you want to get some more votes in there and vote for your favorite person to run the North Pole. Yeah, it's got to be Santa Claus, and he is winning, so it makes sense. All right, guys, that is my 3rd episode of The Crack of Noon with Sean Sargent. Thanks for sticking with me. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to my music. Even if you don't like it, that's okay. You can request some stuff. Maybe if you donate some bits next time, I will play any song you want. I'm trying to stick with Canadian vibe, but I'm trying to join. This is more of a talk show, more about news, more about highlights and stuff that we missed from the week. So anything you guys ever want to talk about, feel free to message me here in the chat on Twitch, or you can just straight up message me. I'll post my actual email where you guys can contact me. Let me know if there's anything you want to talk about on the show, on Humble and Fred's show, anything like that. This is your way of chatting with me, really. I love that you guys are with me. Thanks for joining me. And let's find ourselves some good music for us to take off on. All right, you guys have a wonderful weekend. A little bit of cool drinks for you to take you out. Take care, guys. Enjoy yourselves. Stay warm. It's a cool weekend. I think it's cool this weekend. I don't know. The weather. Bye-bye.
We don't get really do the good. We don't get really do the good. Well, this cat talking about, I wonder who could it be? 'Cause I know I'm the heaviest cat you ever did see. When they see me walking down the street, when the fellas want to speak, on their faces they wear silly spurs, 'cause they know I'm the king of the cool jack. Woo! Cool jack. Cool jack. Look at them guys looking at me like I'm a fool. Deep down inside, they know I'm cool. I said now the moment of truth has finally come. When I'm gonna show you some of that cool dirt. Now give me a little bit of drums by himself there. Now give me a little bit of bass with those 88s.